Hello guys, I'm Inchigan and welcome to Orange Studios. I'm excited to share with you how to go about this stunning flyer design. But to start with, I have some few things to share with you. So now this right here is a text that was molded and rendered in my 4D and it cannot be edited. But the good news is that there is a way to go about it, and there's a 3D model rendition in Photoshop that can be edited in Photoshop. So for instance, take this. All you have to do is to just double click on this, then you can edit this. So let's do a quick edit. All right, so let me put a text in here. So let's say this is the text we want to have converted to 3D. Once you put it in here, all you have to do is to hit Ctrl and S to save. So notice it's saving up here. It's 99% saved now. Now once it's saved, it will be updated in the place we had it. So now when we come back here, you find your text converted to 3D. And all you have to do is to essentially pick this text right here, all right, and drag and drop in any design you want to do. So we can drag and drop it somewhere here. And there you have it. You can edit it to suit your work. All right, so I could have just dropped this here and then add some few effects to it. But because we are not going to handle this today, we just skip. Just know that that will be made available in the description. So it's a free file you can have and edit to put in your files. All right, so let's jump right back into our work. So this is what we are going to work on today. All right, so getting on with business, we are going to work with this canvas size. All right, it's an A4 sheet and I have it here in my recent. All right, but if you don't have it here, you can easily move over here to this option. All right, let me get my highlights ready so you can see where the mouse goes. All right, so you can move over to this place where it's called print. There are other options here, but let's just focus on this today. So print, and you would have the options of the A4, A5, A6, and so on and so forth. So we are going to stick with A4. We are probably going to call this abundance. All right, so with this, we will now create the document. All right, so these are settings here. If you don't know how to, you want to just pick them, you can pick them and work with them. So let's say create. So to start with a simple, we are going to pick and drop our elements. So the whole design is going to focus on three major steps. The first step is that we are going to create a background. The second step is that we are going to add the 3D text and edit it to suit the work we want to work with. Then the third one is to add the images and the other information. So it's just going to be three simple steps. The major thing we want to focus here today is with the background. So let's jump right into it. All right, so with these two elements, we are going to create a background. All we need is these two and a shape. So I'm going to create a shape. So let's turn all of this off. Then I'm going to create a shape over this, and like I've been saying, you can either go with this method or you just use a solid color, which can be found right here. Let me go back to layers. You can find it right here by clicking this and selecting this. All right, so we are going to change the color for this to something green like you see. So I already have the color code copied, so I'm just going to paste. This is the color we are going to work with. You can copy the hex number here or the RGB codes here and use. All right, so let's take this down here because this is going to be the base of our background design. Let's turn this on, right, and move it appropriately. So I want to focus on the sun effect I have here, all right, and some bits of the castle. So let's move it here. I think I like the size already. This is not bad. This is okay. I'm now going to add a layer mask by clicking on this object here. Follow the mouse, this right here. Right, so I'm going to click on this to apply a layer mask. Then I'm going to hit B to activate the brush tool, or you can just move over here to bring out the brush tool. My opacity is low, the flow is okay. Then I'm going to just erase these portions off. So let's just increase the opacity a little bit. All right, with that done, we are going to add the next element. But before then, let's do something to this image. It's too sharp. And we don't want to have it too much in focus because we'll be dropping pictures in here. All right, so let's select this. Now at the moment is the layer mask that is selected, so click on this thumbnail right here to have the image selected. Now we can move over to filter, blur and Gaussian blur. Now with Gaussian blur selected, I have my radius set to 7, which is fine. You can increase it as much as you want, depending on the depth of field you want to see when you drop your pictures in there. So this is fine with me. Let's just hit on enter. Now let's bring out this gentleman right here and drop it here. I like the dark edges here, right? So it means I will not have to worry my head over creating a vignette over the design. So all I'm going to do is to now change the blend mode for this from normal to overlay, right? This is just perfect. Now I don't even need to clean this side, right? Or mask out this side, even though to some extent it's visible here. As you can see the line, right? But I don't really need to. If you want to, you can. So, well, just for the sake of it, let's just do it, right? Alright, so this is fine. Now the next thing I'm going to do, let's collapse all of this. Alright. The next thing I'm going to do is to create a new layer above this one. Then I'm going to paint over this layer some kind of shadow just beneath the castle. So we are going to hit the brush tool to bring out the brush. Let's reduce the size of the brush by using the open square bracket. And then our opacity is too hard, so let's go back to, let's say 19 is fine. Then we want to paint right like in a circular shape, right? So let's try as much as possible to kind of paint this. You will get to understand why when we drop in the other things. So this is what we're trying to do. All right. Right, so this is fine. So let's see the before and after. Right, we can reduce the opacity if it's too strong, and that's fine. So let's put all of this in a group and call it the background. All right, so with our background set, we don't want to accidentally move things around when we don't want to. For instance, you can just be clicking and you move something, you click, you move something. So Ctrl Z to undo, restore our previous arrangement. Select the entire group and then hit on this padlock right here to lock it so you won't accidentally move anything around. That's fine. I like the position of the sun and it's cool. So I'm just going to drag and drop this 3D text right into Photoshop. Same text you saw in the other one. I just did a little manipulation on the surface because after rendering I realized that now it's not really standing out in this background, so I just added a texture over the text, and I will take us through how to do that. All right, so right now I'm going to drag and drop my images into Photoshop. So let's take them one after the other and arrange them. So we are going to take all of them behind the text right here. This is just to help us know how to set them up. All right. So let's use this Ctrl T to bring out the transform and reduce the size. Right, it's too big. Now with this arrangement done, it's basically this simple, right? So we are almost done with the images. All we want to now do is to make sure we put every one of them, all the images in a group, right? So we can apply some common effects to all of them. So once again, we are just going to apply a layer mask to this group, right? So let's click on this to apply the layer mask. Hit B on the keyboard to bring out the brush tool, and then we are going to mask out these sides of the images. So we are doing all at once. That's why we put them in a group in the first place. All right, so this is why we initially added this layer to it. All right, so that the background is not too separate from the images. It darkens it, and like the images are sitting on it. That's the concept behind the reason I did this. All right, so now let's move on with this. And the next thing we are going to do is to add the name of the church. So basically realize that there are simple things we are doing. You're just going to drop the logo here and we put out the info here. Then we are done. Basically, it's this simple. The remaining thing is to, of course, I mentioned the sun right here. So we are going to create some effect in the background to complement it. So to do that, what we are going to do is to create a new layer. Use the brush to pick a color like this right here. Then we are going to turn off these ones, bring this one here, increase the size of the brush. We are trying to duplicate something like this or replicate something like this. So we are going to change the layer from normal to screen as usual. Then we click one. All right, let's increase the size of the brush first. So I'm using the square open close brackets, square close brackets to create that. All right, this is fine. Then we are going to now reduce the size of the brush. In fact, let's take out one. Then we reduce the size of the brush. All right, now we are going to change the color of the brush to something more yellowish. All right, this. Then we hit undo and let's make it smaller. So we hit. By hitting, I mean click. All right, so we click. And then this is what we have here. Right, so this, that. Now when we drop the images in there, you realize that their back is also lit. So before and after, which is kind of matching the background because the sun is kind of hitting from this side. So what you probably want to do is to probably maybe drag it a little close to the sun. Right, so it flows naturally in there. All right, so that's fine. Now what we're going to do now is to duplicate it. So Ctrl J to duplicate this sun effect. Turn one off. I did two duplicates, right? So we take it up, Ctrl T to bring a transform, and then we reduce the size of the sun. So we can conveniently drop it somewhere here. It means the sun is kind of going through them, or yes, going through these sections. I hope you understand. So I'm going to replicate this for all the areas, then we get back to it. All right, so there you have it. I have duplicated it and spread it across some vantage points. I didn't want to add some here because it might be too much, but this is just fine with me. All right, so what next we are going to do is to create another shadow for this text. All right, so double click on the right side, hit on drop down shadow. You realize the shadow is there. Let's zoom in so we can have a closer look. All right, so let's see the before and after the shadow, before, after. So you can tell there's a shadow somewhere here, but that's not enough. We're going to hit OK. Then once again, click on this button to create a new layer. Take it below, hit the brush tool to bring out the brush tool, increase the size of the brush. If you can't do that by using the square bracket key, which I wonder you will not, you can just do that right here. All right, so we are going to now paint. We need a black paint, so we're going to choose black. Then we paint over these sections. All right, gently. Let's now reduce the size of the brush and do same here. All right. Now what it's doing is that the 3D is casting a shadow on this in the background. That's the main reason for that. But we can increase it a little bit, then just take the brush closely to the text. All right, like so. So let's see the before and after. Before and after. All right, so it's looking more real now. All right, so this is fine. So like I did mention, I realized that after rendering the text, I didn't want to go back. It's a hassle. Just in case you have this and you want to do same, or you want to even change it to something else. Maybe it will help you. So this is what I did. Select this, all right, and then I'm going to bring a texture into Photoshop. Then we clip mask it to it. So let's get to that. All right, so this texture right here is what we are going to use. So I'm going to drag and drop it here. Then I'm going to reduce the size just to fit around the text, right, like that. And that's fine. So we are going to apply a layer mask once again. By now, you should be getting used to the term apply layer mask, right? So now let's turn this off for now. Then we are going to use the magic wand, which is an easy way because of the way the text is, all right? In other cases, you probably would have to use the pen, which is too painful to do. So let's just click, right? what we are doing is to select this right here, then click, so you realize that it is selecting every part of the letter A. Now because this one is all joined, one click would select all. So press and hold the shift, then you can add this to the selection right here. So we are going to select this, right? Move over to select inverse, right? Then let's turn this on. Then your hand on the Alt key, press and hold the Alt key and hit the backspace to mask out the other parts of it. So this is how you have the texture applied to the text. All right, so Control D was what I did to take out the selection. Now we are going to realize the color here doesn't match anything in the design so far. So we are going to use hue and saturation by clicking this, selected hue and saturation. Then we are going to click on this, right, to create a clipping mask. Then we will click on this little finger here. It gives you the eyedropper tool. Then you can sample a color here. So it tells you which color it's going to work on, right? So it tells you magentas. Then we can now adjust to have the colors we want. So let's say 150-ish would be okay. All right, 150-ish. Well, this fine. And then we can probably take out some reds, and this should be okay. All right, so let's zoom out and see. So means the text is now at least a bit visible. So what we can do now is probably reduce the opacity, right? So it's not too strong. I think this right here is perfect. All right, so I kind of reduced it to 88%. So this right here is perfect. Now the next thing I'm going to do is just drop images of the singing ministers right here. So let me create a layer to explain, so we can skip. I don't want to take much of your time. All right, so let's hit B, which is the brush tool, so I can do this quick illustration. Let me pick a color here. All right. So what we are going to do is to have some singing ministers, right? Ministers in music right here. All right, some 4, so they'll be arranged like this. All right, don't worry, it's just a rough sketch. So, and then we're going to add the text here. The reason why I don't want to even waste time to type it here is because, well, it's just text and everybody can type. Now this arrangement is supposed to help it balance this and that, keep a justified space here. All right, in this area, let me change the color of the brush to something like this. Yeah, this is fine. So keep it balanced, right? So, all right, and like that. Then we can probably put the logo somewhere here. Undo. We put the logo somewhere here. All right, so this is what we are probably going to do. I think that should sort everything out. We'll add some ribbon here, right, for another text. All right, that's basically it. So I'm just going to pick and drop from the previous one, but because the most important things has already been explained. Yes, so this is it. I know I skipped some parts, but the most relevant parts were tackled. Creating the background, arranging the people in there, and the text effects right here. All right, so this is what we've done. Like I mentioned with the explanation, we wanted to have this right here, right? So we arrange the pictures right here and put some text in here, keeping or respecting that we have some borders over here so that the artwork will breathe. And then we have the logo right here, their names right here. So this is basically it. So now this is where you've got to pay attention. Now the password to having access to the file is right here. It's UNDANCE, the password. Once again, all in lowercase, just like this. UNDANCE, UNDANCE. as the password. So if you have this password, you have access to the project file. Good luck. Now let's move right into it. So we have this right here and the information is set. So I think we've done a good job with today's work. If you have any question, just any question at all, don't hesitate to leave that in the comment section, because I'm really hoping to hear from you and to help you address your questions. And if you want to follow us and have a tete-a-tete questions or one-on-one questions with us, just hop onto our Telegram community and have any question answered. See you in the next episode. Bye. Hold up, not yet. Hold on. Once again, the password is UNDANCE, all in lowercase. If you have any question, hit us up in the comment section or check us out on Telegram and ask your questions, and we'll gladly reply. See you in another episode. Bye. Alright guys, so there we go. I hope you had the password or you got the password to the free project file. If you didn't, then rewind, rewatch, and get the password. See you in another episode.